Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to go over very briefly on the first most important cues when you go to deadlift. I've seen it so many times in my life where people try to deadlift in the gym, really heavy weight, and they're doing it, out of ego or the Instagram post or whatever to impress people in the gym. And they're really going to mess themselves up for life. Not even for a few months, whatever, but literally bulge discs out of their spine.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken, spinal.
For the rest of their life, giving them complications. So in this series, I'd like to go over the deadlift, and we'll do it for the squat and the bench and overhead press, all that stuff. For really the movements that could potentially put you in danger the most out of any other, exercise, because we're not really worried about overhead extensions or like bicep curls or something like that. I think the benefits to deadlift, squat, and bench are definitely the highest of any other exercise, debatably, and they also have the greatest risk if done improperly. So today we're going to go over the fundamentals of the deadlift that I've learned over the years from my coaches and my own experience, and I feel like I have a very good grasp of it and how to explain it. So we're just going to do 3 plates, really light and easy here, and I'm going to go over all of the cues, everything that I want you guys to pay attention to when we do deadlift. There's one thing that I want you to really pay attention to, and that's not to go too heavy. All of that will come in time. Right now, we just want to focus on the fundamentals. So pick a weight for yourself and really try to work through the movement and through the rhythm and try to actually move your body and feel everything the way it should be felt, instead of just, being like a cat on Halloween and just being like, oh, I can't move anymore. So right off the bat, I want you guys to walk up to the bar. I don't want you to be right up close. I don't want you to be too far away. The deadlift is a very easy exercise when you have it down path. Essentially, you want to think of yourself pulling the bar across your shins. So I see a lot of pro deadlifters have really bloody shins. It also looks badass. It's also kind of painful sometimes, but in the moment, you're not thinking of anything else. The further the bar gets from you, the more difficult it is to lift and the more pressure it is on the lower back, which in turn leads to injury and danger. So what you want to do is you always want to keep the bar really close to you. Now, how do you do that? There are many different ways. Obviously, walking up to the bar is the first one, the most important thing, getting in a good position. I like to plant my feet a little bit out to the sides. This allows me to dial my toes out a little bit as I lift, which transverses the energy, I like to think of it, from my feet and toes to the back of my hamstrings, and then my glutes, and then from there I can just hip thrust forwards. One way to do it and to keep everything really tight, which a lot of people make this mistake of, and I really want to reiterate how important this subtle movement is, and that is just essentially keeping tight with your rear shoulders, retracting your scapula, keeping everything tight. And what I mean by that is this, look. So you grab the bar, and a lot of people will just do this. You see my back? You see my shoulders? Pay attention to everything on my body here. They do that. Right? No. Look at the difference between that and this. You see a difference there? If I tighten everything here, like that, by tucking in my lats and my rear delts, I keep everything extremely locked in to the point where it's not going to crumble under pressure, which will eventually make me fold over and do the cat rounding back thing. So really pay attention to that. Take a big breath of air in, and I'm just going to show you the movement in its entirety. So the things that we want to pay attention to here are essentially, of course, keeping tight when we do the movement. So that, right? And it's not like let's keep this tight. I'm not rounding my back. I'm not bringing my hips up first. I'm keeping this tight. It's literally just this movement, from this to that. It's almost like you're going to break the bar like this as much as you can, right? If you look at my back, like that. Like that. Like that. So, okay, we do that We lift the bar, and a lot of guys, depending on the bar they have, go right from 0 to 100 really quick. Now, I was taught by Eric Lillybridge something called breaking the bar. And this can be achieved really well on a Texas deadlift bar. Not so much on a power bar, because all of the weight is right on the bar from the get-go. From the moment you lift the bar, you're getting all of that weight that is on the bar. However, with a Texas deadlift bar, it's got more whip, it's got more bend, so you break it. Now, depending on the bar you have, we can go into specifics of that in another video, but essentially I want to go over the main basics of deadlifting so you don't break your spine out.
Spinal.
So once again, walk up to the bar, not too close, not too far away, and you take a big breath of air in. This is what I like to do. And you brace. And the reason for that is like you having a belt. And if you have a belt, well, great, more power to you. I got one right here. And when I do that, it helps twice as much. So you put the belt on. Okay, big breath in at the top, because when you're at the top, you can get more air in than if you're down here. Now, I know some people use straps. I did that too sometimes, and you have to get your air in at the bottom. That's fine. So, and you break the bar. Now, the important thing is once you break the bar, a lot of guys will do this thing where they shoot their hips up first, and that's what you don't want to do. You want to avoid doing that. When your hips come up first, what happens? You're leading with your back, and it's really not that much of a back movement. It's more of a leg movement. Your back is just holding the weight there. Once you pass your knees, it's easy, it's fair game. You literally hump the bar. You hip thrust forwards instead of lifting with your back, and I'm going to show you. Watch what happens when I pass my knees. It's a simple little hump, really. So as we can see, when we lift it off the ground, we're really leg pressing it off, like squatting it off the ground once we get to our knees. And then from there, we just hip thrust forwards and keep everything tight. That's it. You don't want to overextend. You don't want to do any of that fancy crap. You just want to get the bar up, and that's really all there is to it. So if there are any questions beyond this, these are like the most preliminary basics to prevent injury that I can talk about. And beyond that, I'll read you guys' comments and we can answer that in follow-up videos. So thanks for watching.
Yeah.